Welcome to the hot seat, where bold claims meet cold facts. Ready to challenge the narrative and stir up some real talk? It's time to get real. Let's dive in.
Speeches, he's called people animals before.
The MS-13 gang members?
Yes, but they're human beings, no human, in my eyes at least. And I hope everybody's, no human being is an animal.
Are you familiar with the types of things that they do, though, like as a gang? Like, have you ever heard of a Colombian necktie, for example, where they'll cut your throat open and take your tongue and rip it down? That's something that an animal would do, in my opinion. Like, not to reduce their humanity, however, you know, when you're behaving in that way, I think that...
But when you call people animals, even if somebody were, let's say, an MS-13, you're setting a precedent for how we treat people. I wouldn't even...
Awoki argues that MS-13 members are human despite their violent actions, challenging Trump's harsh descriptions. It's a complex debate about humanity and crime.
She put her hands on me.
They even have it on video that it was the exact opposite. And I'm not speaking to you. We're waiting for the police officer.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for getting them. This though. Aren't we supposed to be defunding the police? Okay, so now we're calling cops.
No one's calling
I have a black security.
No one's talking to you.
Bring up another topic.
No one's
Calling cops on black security?
Yeah, aren't you calling the cops on a black man? I hope you tell me if you're breaking.
I'm perfectly fine.
I just want to point out, they closed...
Biden supporters call the police on a black reporter's bodyguard, ironically highlighting issues with their views on police racism.
Before the attack on October 7th on Israel, in which 1,200 civilians were killed, people would argue that was a ceasefire that was broken by Hamas. What would you say to those people?
Well, I would say to those people that Gaza was still under siege. It was still, the people of Gaza were completely controlled by the Israeli government, as we've seen, because as soon as it happened, the water was cut off, food was cut off, everything was cut off. They were only allowed, at that time, so many calories a day, controlled by the...
An old wokie provides a left-wing perspective on ceasefire issues, avoiding direct answers about historical events.
What is wrong with the word woman?
Because a lot of feminism isn't geared, as your feminism isn't, to include trans people. So it's
You don't think we should ever use the word woman again?
I did not say that.
Well, what are you saying?
I'm saying that if we're speaking about inclusivity, we're speaking about matters of gender diversity, then we should use a terminology that everybody
So we
feels
shouldn't use
comfortable
women?
With. Didn't say that we shouldn't
The
use women.
Students' Union, well, do you agree with Goldsmith? The Students' Union has ceased to use the words women and woman because they want to use W-O-M-X-N.
I think that it's an inclusive way. Yes, why not?
So you want to abandon the use of the word woman?
Didn't say that either.
But that's what they've done.
No, they haven't.
They have.
They're just changing the spellings to show that they're inclusive of the trans
They have stopped
narrative.
using the word woman because it includes the word man.
The word woman is still woman. With an X, it's just the O.
Why are you changing it?
It's just to show an inclusive nature when speaking about
But it means you can't.
issues.
It means that they are banning the traditional
We could go
spelling of
around
woman.
and around with this.
A trans activist claims they're not banning the word woman, merely changing its spelling for inclusivity. It's a linguistic twist that sparks heated discussions.
So you're saying that as long as it's not full at pride parades, but we've already agreed that there is scantily clad kink culture. There is clearly a lot of flesh on display at family-friendly, as branded as family-friendly events, if I'm not incorrect there. Is there any difference between that and children experiencing that and a man choosing to flash or expose himself to children? Is there any difference?
Yeah, there is a big difference to me. In my opinion, there's a huge difference. Like,
what's the difference?
One thing is you see somebody, like, you can maybe expect a bit more. The same way you'd expect something on, like, I don't know, another festival, you'd expect certain things. You can expect someone to maybe wear less clothes on a pride parade, but you as a parent or as a family member should be the one who tells the difference. But I don't think, I think they're two different debates, and mixing them is kind of...
According to Awoki, there's a difference between public nudity and pride parade nudity, attempting to justify the latter.
You read The Guardian? You read The Guardian? You read The Guardian, don't you? I know I'm gay, actually. You see, typical lefty, typical lefty. You don't like someone, call them homophobic, call them a fascist, call them a racist, call them a Nazi. Because that's what the Guardian teaches you. This is what happens when you drink too much soya milk. It rots your brain. This is the project of soya milk. It rots your brain. It rots your brain. No. No. And therefore it's my right to have a microphone. Again? You can identify as a microphone. That got you, didn't it? Right to the Guardian. Right to the Guardian. Or socialists work hard. I run my own company.
This person humorously outsmarts a lefty heckler, turning the tables with wit and leaving the audience in stitch, facing the power of consistency in arguments.
Ship in Finland goes viral. The sport doesn't involve any actual horses. Instead, players ride a stick with a toy horse head, prance around with their own human legs, and even jump over barriers. The sport is officially called hobby horsing, with about 1,500 people competing in it from all over the world.
Wokies invent a new sport, vegan horse riding, sans horse, drawing both amusement and perplexity. A Wokie is outraged when misgendered, pointing dramatically to the pronouns on her shirt as if they were instructions.
PragerU is our channel?
Oh, no.
No?
It's Zionist propaganda. Sorry, we won't talk to you guys. I'm not talking to you.
PragerU bias. PragerU is Israeli media! I'm Catholic.
You are committing a genocide. Your people are by starving.
Wait, whose people? Your people.
Israel.
PragerU, bro.
Israel, they are committing a genocide against the Palestinian people by starvation, stamping out their culture, their religion. They are giving them no medicine where people and children...
Wokies accuse a reporter of aiding genocide simply by covering events, showing how quickly tensions escalate over media presence.
This is an abomination. You give Christians a bad name. And I love Christ. I love Christ more than any of you ever possibly could.
Why don't you show some
You should love your neighbors rather than this.
Why don't you show some tolerance?
I have friends who would die if it were up to you people who would run this country.
You want to have a nice
you.
Conversation? Let's have a conversation.
I don't have conversations with bigots.
A pro-trans Wokie loses composure with Christians, resorting to curses and offensive gestures over a calm conversation.
So you're from Satan, huh? Is that it? Oh.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch it?
Don't touch me.
Don't touch you either?
I'm going to call 911
Listen.
if you don't behave. Why are you so angry?
Listen.
Why are you so angry?
Why? Because we don't need this in our neighborhood.
Show some respect, okay? Please, show some respect.
We don't need this
in our neighborhood.
We're just praying peacefully. No, you're not praying peacefully.
Yes, we are.
No, you're insulting people that have different belief structures than you.
We're standing up for God's law.
Oh, you know what? God's law. God is great. God is most merciful and compassionate.
There is no right to sin.
No, there is
no right to sin.
No, there isn't, and that's what you guys are doing right now. You pretend that you're God and you have the judgment. God alone has judgment on the planet.
You know what the Bible says?
I know what the Bible says. I've read it.
What is the Bible?
A peaceful Christian gathering triggers a Wokie, who responds with anger instead of dialogue.
I'm trying to save your life. If you die, you're going to go to hell.
You're not Jesus.
I'm trying to save your life.
You're not Jesus, black people. You're not.
I do.
I love my girlfriend. I even deal with it.
You should repent. You know what's sad? It's like all you care about is eating vagina. Like that's what your life consists of. You know how sad your life is? Your whole life revolves around sex. That's sad.
LGBTQ+ Wokies lash out at a preacher using profanity and aggression instead of engaging in discussion.
Want to catch Wokie moments in 4K? Watch till the end, subscribe, like the video, and comment Wokies for a chance to win a brand new iPhone 16 or a cash prize. Also, don't forget to check out the next video on the end screen for more chances to win.
Do a lot of some hard. Hold on, wait. Calm down. Calm down. You know you will be respectful. You will be respectful. I don't know. Relax then. Relax. You will be respectful. Okay, I'll let you say something, but you will be respectful. Don't grab my stuff. Don't grab my stuff. Okay.
I have my hands right here. I have my hands right here.
Just you grab my stuff. You grab my stuff. Just I'll hold it. I don't trust you anymore because you came in like a demon. Relax.
An LGBTQ plus activist attempts to physically confront a preacher and snatch his microphone, crossing the line from protest to harassment.
Promoting, really? They're promoting this? I'm not sure I agree with that they're promoting. Talking that it would be an option, sure, but promoting it.
Your binder tips and tricks?
That's not promoting it. That just is an option for you.
Okay. So exposing.
If you're promoting it, I got an issue with it. I've yet to see the time. Well, I should take that back. I'm sure there are some that do, but it's very rare. All I'm saying is expose it to people, make your own decision. But I don't think that's a promoting. They're just saying here's something you could do if that's what you're.
But you are okay with your binder tips and tricks for.
A Wokey supports the use of chest binders and other controversial items in schools, advocating for early LGBTQ plus education without parental consent.
Parents disagree with that being taught in the classrooms. Do you think that the classrooms should just teach it anyways? What are your thoughts on that? Like, what if parents disagree with it?
Yeah, they should, because I don't think the parents are the ones with the degrees. The teachers are, so.
But again, I was a high school principal. I was actually also a school board member for 12 years.
Yeah.
In a different
Would you consider
town.
getting back into that?
Nah, that's politics. I ran for election 3 times. I was elected 3 times. And in 2016, when my next election was up, I was kind of done with it. Yeah. But that was in a different town. It wasn't in Laguna Beach. So I've been in education my whole life, and I've been a policymaker for a lot of those years as a principal and as a school board member. For people to say that, well, they're educators, we trust them, they know what they're doing. Hey, I was a high school principal. I had a lot of great teachers, and I had a lot of teachers who had no business being in education. You can't close the doors and trust another adult just because they're in that profession. I don't care what the profession is.
Yeah.
I love cops, but I don't trust all cops.
No.
Teachers, I was a teacher, I was a principal. I don't trust them all. Some of them have great motivation, and
This Wokey argues that parental consent isn't necessary for teaching LGBTQ plus content because teachers are qualified, sparking debates about parental rights and education standards.
You believe I'm a racist?
I said engage with racists. And
Okay.
I don't feel comfortable engaging with you right now.
Is that because you think
It's because you're crowding me and you've brought a crowd of people and multiple cameras, so I really don't appreciate how you're crowding me like this.
Well, I'm not crowding you right now. I'm giving you some
I feel pretty
space.
crowded right now.
Well, we're in a public space and you have a sign that says change my mind.
You are crowder. Sorry.
I see what you did. No, I appreciate it. Hey, come on. Fist bump. There you go. I appreciate it. Come on, you're in good spirits. I appreciate you being so friendly. But I do think to lob the accusation of it's a pretty hefty accusation.
I don't feel comfortable right now, and I would really appreciate if you went and talked to some of my other friends. I prefer engaging in smaller crowds, and I don't appreciate how everyone's here staring at me and how you've brought these people to me. So
Well,
I'd really appreciate it.
You did protest my event and used our segment, Change My Mind. I mean, it's not like it's all that surprising that I'm asking you about your opinions.
Standing in a crowd with a Change My Mind sign, a Wokey refuses to engage in the very conversations they seem to invite.
My own personal dream is that there will be a secular, democratic Palestine that includes all who want to live there, except for the criminals, the Israeli criminals. And as far as the Palestinians, they have the right to resist. They have the right to resist. Never mind what group or what they're doing. I put all of the violence that the Palestinians use at their disposal to resist occupation and oppression. I put that at the feet of Israel. It's not the Palestinians. The Palestinians have a right to resist, and that's throughout history, even this country.
A pro-Palestine Wokey places all blame for violence on Israel, labeling any actions by Hamas as resistance, simplifying a deeply complex issue.
Gender identity, and you shouldn't try to shame them out of it. So let me ask you: should we accept people that think they're younger than they actually are? Because that's a mental condition where people say, I identify as an 8-year-old, but they're really 50. Should we accept someone be able to say they're younger? No, but
Charlie Kirk dismantles a pro-trans argument with sharp logic, highlighting the need for well-grounded discussions.
Like, how is America racist?
All right. Are you familiar at all with the concept of structural race?
Yeah, it's a myth.
If you were to try to write a curriculum that covers slavery in the U.S. or the Holocaust or whatever, and not give the narrative that this group did this horrible thing to the other group, you're going to have to rely on some pretty...
But it wasn't groups, though. That's incorrect. Not every white person was a slave owner.
Yeah, well, that doesn't matter, though, because
9 out of 13 states abolished slavery by the time of constitutional ratification.
I mean,
it's not like every white person was supportive. In fact, we had abolitionists at the time of the founding.
Exactly.
So why would you say one group? One group doing something to the other? Like, that's just not true.
Right.
9 states abolished it. Thomas Jefferson wrote in the original draft of the Declaration to King George, admonishing him for bringing slavery. The first ever anti-slavery convention was in Philadelphia, chaired by Benjamin Franklin in 1775. Thomas Jefferson got rid of the importation of new slaves in 1807. Guess what? None of that stuff.
Charlie Kirk educates a Wookiee on slavery with historical facts, challenging misinformed narratives with depth and precision. For more Wookiee videos, click on the screen right now.